Yes, good morning to you all. My name is Golda Namara. Amazina ganje, in fact, let me first do Luchiga. Amazina ganje ninye Golda Namara. I'm a Musiji from Kaharo, Kabale, but I grew up in Nyachenyi, Rukunjiri, with my maternal grandfather, Reverend Ruhindi. For most of you who know that very hardworking old man, may his soul rest in peace. Yeah. So briefly, all protocol observed. We have heard from a number of people, and Dr. Patrick Kalenzi, thank you for giving me the pace. You'd think that we organize these presentations together. You're going to be very surprised. Yeah. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a licensed financial professional and a paralegal by profession. And I've been in finance for the last 5 years. But the most important part of my journey is that I discovered quite fast when I came to the US in 2016, just like Doctor was saying, that there was something that was not right. Our communities were struggling. People were working without sleep. People had no time for family. Stress levels were high. There was so much going on. And I really thought about it, and I was like, there has to be a way we could get out of this. I'm not going to settle for the traditional, healthcare, get a job, get the paycheck, try to survive. And I encourage you, if you're listening in today, please, please, please don't cheat yourself. It's a big risk I took, but it has paid off. It has given me a beautiful life. It has given me time for my family. Going out of the traditional, stressful, back-to-back shifts to a career that could not only give me time for the family, but could also give me very good income and purpose as I serve in the community. Yeah, so friends, I will be going through financial planning, but from quite a unique perspective. Um, so for finance, first and foremost, if we go back, as immigrants, when we come, because I know we have people from Uganda, but I hope this will also help, because I was in Uganda, I had a good job, I was paid very good amount in dollars, but I never had money. That's the truth. So, and for immigrants, it is even worse, because we come from Uganda, we go to the UK, we go to Canada, we come to the US, we go to South Africa, whatever countries we find ourselves into. But guess what? We never put in time to understand how the financial systems in these countries work. And with time, sorry about that. Yeah. So with time, that really puts us in the survival mode, like Doctor was saying. We find we just have to survive. We have to survive to pay our bills. We have to survive to meet all the various needs our families are putting upon us. We have to survive to get a bit of sleep. We have to survive to have time with our spouses. We have to survive to have time for our children, but it is not supposed to be like that. Yeah. So, as someone who grew up with a man of God, I base most of my things on the Bible. I know our beliefs could be different, because I believe everything we need to learn in this life is in the holy books, basically. The holy books, the Bible, the Quran, and other things. Yeah. So the Bible really states how important it is for us to be knowledgeable as part of the planning process for our finances. In 1 Kings 3:12, when God was giving the wealthiest man in life, according to the Bible, King Solomon, wealth, he gave him wisdom first. He was God. Why didn't he give him things? Why didn't he give him a big house, a big car, gold, diamond? Why did he give him wisdom and a discerning heart first? That is simply because, like Robert Kiyosaki says, money without financial literacy or without clear financial knowledge is money soon gone. He's one of the wealthiest people in the world and the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, for those of you who do not know him. Yeah. So, what is financial literacy and how does it help us with our day to day financial planning? Financial literacy is the knowledge and skills that enable us to make sound day to day decisions, to choose the right job, to behave the right way at your workplace, to choose the right spouse, to make the right buying decisions, to have the right friends. All those seem like to be on a call like this, all those seem like small, little bit of things, but that is financial literacy. And guess what? It adds up. It really does, like you're going to see. Yeah, so why is knowledge important before you buy your next financial product, you buy your next piece of land, you start your business, you purchase that quick financial asset from an advisor or a professional. Financial literacy is very important whether you're abroad or back home because it is never taught in school. Nobody, like we are beaten, like for us who grew up in Uganda, they beat you from nursery school up to secondary school, but nobody really puts you down and tells you, you know what, Golda, I'm beating you so that when you grow up, you make money, you manage it like this to build a quality life. Nobody tells us, nobody teaches us. So once we grow up, we just go into the rat race of trying, to do what we were taught in school. And after we get the money, guess what? We don't know what's next. Yeah. So if you're an immigrant, remember you're starting your family, you're starting your life in a very unfamiliar financial system with very unfamiliar products and services. And guess what? With very unfamiliar threats. Right now, our communities around the world, our immigrant communities especially, are just recovering from the Ponzi scheme of the scooters that swept our community, I think like for 3 months, taking almost our life savings, our tax money, because those Ponzi's normally come after the tax season because they know we don't know, and they know, you know what, we worked hard, we have the money, and we have no knowledge, we have no plan. Yeah, so financial literacy is also very important because when you understand the basics, like I'm going to be sharing with you today, the basics are very simple. When you understand the basics of how money works, you're able to get that seed from your workplace or from your business or from your service you're offering and multiply it much faster. And of course, like I shared, financial literacy will help you avoid costly fraud, scams, or mistakes. Because if I tell you, you give me $10,000, in 2 weeks I'll give you 20,000 or 30. If you really know how money works, if you know that money follows the principles of growth of life, like Golda, I was born in 1982. If I started walking in 2 months, my mother would be very worried. So money follows the same principles. And if you really understand how it works, you're really able to avoid most of those scams. Yeah, so financial literacy as a planning tool. Because I know I was talking to our president, Bridget, and she was, like, tell me what you're going to talk about, Golda. Break it down. Yeah. Most of the time we want to see the figures, put your money here, get this, get that. But guess what? The very first step to you actually planning for your finances is to intentionally put in time for financial literacy, to intentionally come on a call like this, to intentionally buy books that talk about finance, to intentionally go on YouTube and learn a few things from credible people. You don't just listen to everybody. That is the first step. The next step to your financial planning is having goals, especially for you, my dear immigrants. If you do not have goals, you're working for other people. If you do not know what you want, like you're putting in all these hours to work, but you don't know where you want your money to go in the next, let me say, 6 months, you don't know what you want to achieve financially in the next maybe 2 years, or what you want to see in your retirement plan, in your children's saving plan, or in your wealth plan, then guess what? There are so many people who have planned for your money. Having clear financial goals is like a GPS. I invited guests to my home here. There are people in the watch party. I could turn the computer around a bit to show you. We have our community members here for the watch party. For the watch party. But if I just invited them and I don't give them the address, guess what? They could end up in the neighbor's compound. They could get lost. Here in America, if you end up in a compound of someone who's mean, they could even shoot you, you know. So why, if you ask for an address and you put it in a GPS to show you where you're going to go, why can't you put an address for your money before you even pick up that shift, before you take on that job, before you start overworking yourself? Otherwise, you're going to be working hard for the next scam in your community. You're going to be working very hard for the next shrewd friend or relative who has a plan for your money. You're going to be working very hard for the next mall promotion. Right now we are going into, they call it what, Black Friday, Black November in Uganda. You're going to be working to give your money to other people. Yeah. So it is very, very important to write down what you want to do with your money and review it wherever you find time. Like at the end of your week, you get a check. Before you start panicking and saying, oh, whom should I donate to this week? First, review your goals and pay yourself first. That is a key principle in finance. When you get your money, you first pay yourself. You pay your emergency fund, you pay your retirement account, you pay your children's savings account, you pay yourself first. Yeah. So it is also very important to pay yourself first. I've said that. Yeah. So what are some of the key areas we can focus on as we learn how to plan for our finances? The very first area, like I shared in the introduction, I'm going to keep re-emphasizing it, is learning. One of the key challenges I get in our immigrant community, especially for my Banyachigezi friends, as sharing with my guests, for the people in our community here in Boston or even in other states, because I'm licensed in 16 states, who really know that Golda can teach, they'll stop everything. They'll call me. I'm a secretary to most of their small groups because they know if when Golda comes, she will teach. But for us, we have small groups, we meet, we have fun, or we are just busy, we don't have time. So put in time to learn the financial system. Like if you're, let me say, an immigrant in Canada or in the UK, do window shopping, or here in the US, find out where do people save their money and why. Like what is the difference, for example, in the US between a credit union and a big bank? Why do we find so many immigrants, for example, in Bank of America? Is it their marketing strategy? Is it our lack of knowledge? Nothing about them. I'm just giving an example. So personally, when I came, the reason why I opened up in Bank of America was because I felt this Mochiga would show like I've reached in America finally. And it cost me a good bit. Yeah. So it is very, very important to put in a day, in a month, and just window shop. You can window shop physically. You walk to these financial institutions, you ask them about their savings, you ask them about their interest debt. If you want like to buy a car, you want to buy a mortgage, you want, credit card, find time and first window shop so that you don't become one of those customers that are being, exploited by the predatory financial institutions. Because believe me, they are there that target communities of people who don't know, or people who are desperate, or people who want, the American Pompey brand. Yeah, so another key area that you can look at as you plan for your finances is to shop around for the interest rate. Whether you are looking for savings, investment, or even debt, Whether you are in Uganda, in the UK, US, Canada, Europe, or China, wherever you're watching from, shopping for interest will drastically reduce the money you lose if you're looking at debt or even savings, and it will help you achieve your goals faster. So one of the key things that puzzled me when I joined finance was finding this simple mathematical rule. The mathematical rule of 72, discovered by Albert Einstein. I don't know how those guys used to think about some of these things. Albert Einstein is a renowned scientist, but he discovered that if you get your interest rate, let me say on a savings account, on debt, or anything that gives you interest, and you divide that interest they are giving you by the mathematical number 72, you're able to estimate how fast either your money or other people's money that you've borrowed is going to double. So I have an example here of the lowest interest in Massachusetts of some bank, where they're giving you 0.40. So for a parent who's saving for a child in this type of bank, the money they are putting in, regardless of the amount, mathematically will take 180 years to double. 180. This rule is available online. It is on YouTube. It is in books. You can research it. You can do your own homework. When you compare this parent, for example, if these two parents are saving for college, to parent number 2, who has their money in the highest interest rate in Massachusetts, my state where I live, their money takes 16.9 years. These two people cannot live the same life. These two people cannot face the same stress. These two people can never have the same outcome. That means that the second person's money, this one who shops around for the highest in our state, doubles 10 times before the first person has a chance. In America, that's why you see some people, in especially predominantly white and Asian communities, on a weekend like this are seated at Starbucks with their friends. And guess what? We the immigrants have picked another shift. We have picked another shift because we put our money in, most of us, in the 0.40. Yeah, so in Uganda, I was searching the interest rates in Uganda, and I found something very, very interesting. In Uganda, the lowest maximum savings interest, because they have the lowest they offer and the highest, but I'm looking at the maximum. Like a bank says, they are giving you maximum interest on whatever amount of money you're giving, 1%. Meaning that if you put your money there, it takes 72 solid years to double. But we have the highest, this is from Bank of Uganda website. You can go, research interest rates. Very, very interesting. It will open your eyes to so many things. I'm so glad we have Housing Finance as one of our sponsors, because for me, the moment I saw those rates, guess what? I moved my money from some bank to Housing Finance, and good enough we have the diaspora connection here in Boston. So the one bank offers 1% maximum, and the highest being offered in Uganda is 10%. Yeah, so that creates a very, very big gap. You go out, you make the same money, but what you know that enables you to put this money in different places makes the big difference. Yeah. So another key issue of financial planning is debt management, especially my friends in the US. I know for a fact that we did not know that this debt existed. We did not know that it can be as delicious as it is. But guess what? Debt in America is the cheese. Once you get hooked on debt in the USA, you will never have time for your family. You will never live quality life. It is one of the top stressors here. Like, you will never really have anything meaningful that you do for yourself. And the longer you live in the US without really knowing that debt is the trap, like the way they trap the rat with the cheese, it is the hidden trap in the American system. Why is debt one of the worst things you can take on either in Uganda or here? The very first reason why debt, of course, is money that you're using for other people to buy something you cannot afford. That is the simple definition in finance. Every time you're trying to borrow, there's borrowing for business or there's borrowing to go to school. That is good debt, it will give you returns. But if you're swiping that credit card to live a lifestyle, you're buying that big car that you can't afford, you're taking on a mortgage, or you're going to school to study a course that is not giving you returns, it is the worst thing you can do to yourself, to your family, and to everybody else, that looks up to you. So debt consumes first and foremost your income in the future to pay for something that you've already consumed. So as we listen in today, we have a number of people that are working to pay for things that maybe even are old now and they threw them away. Yeah, so the highest lending rate in the USA as of today, as of yesterday, because I updated this yesterday, the highest lending rate in the US is 36%. Meaning, based on the rule of 72, that when you have a credit card or any type of loan that has 36%, every 2 years, that debt you have doubles. That's why you pay that card and pay that card and pay that card and pay that card. The more you pay, the more it grows. The more you pay, the more it grows. If you can, we have financial literacy that is available through my organization, World System Builder. It is available in Canada and in the US, but we also do, group teachings for as an individual and a few of my friends, for people who are like in Arab Emirates or back home in Uganda, who want to learn some of these things to help them, roll up. Like if you're buried in debt, that is the first thing to get out of the way before you can even start thinking of anything else. Otherwise, you imagine like in Uganda, the highest lending rate is 40%. 40% from a bank, not a money lender. So if you're taking a loan at 40%, you're basically selling whatever you're giving the bank. As simple as that. Meaning that unless you're going to steal and you pay back, every 1 year and 8 months, the money you borrowed from some bank in Uganda, that was, you do your own homework, you go to Bank of Uganda website and do your own homework. Yeah, so friends, remember the Bible says you are a slave to the person who lends you money. Whether it is Capital One, whether it is some bank in Uganda, whether it is your best friend, whether it is whosoever lends you money is your master until you pay back. Let us work as individuals, as groups, and break those chains of slavery. The worst loan in America by far is the student loan. In states, for my friends who are in the US here, did you know that if you're delinquent on your student loan, and let me say you're a financial professional like me, they suspend your professional state license. Even if I did maybe a nursing course or like my paralegal course, I failed to pay, and I owe, the state is required to suspend my professional licenses. But guess what? The other person collecting is still demanding me to pay. Massachusetts suspends professional licenses if you are a plumber, you are a nurse, you are a teacher, you are a financial professional, etc. They'll suspend your license and you still have to pay. For some states like South Dakota, you even can't drive. They will take away your driver's license, they will take away your hunting license, but you will still have to pay. So for my friends who are raising children, especially in the diaspora, don't first pay your entire village. Prioritize your children, put something away for them if you're starting a family, and if you have a student debt, you're struggling, reach out, we create a plan, you start slowly paying it off. It is the worst gift you can give to your children, more so in the American financial system, but always leverage professional advice to source out for some of the best products you can leverage to grow your money. So the average mortgage today in the US is at 6.5%. My friends, in America, if you're buying a mortgage, you're not buying a house. Even anywhere in the world, the mortgage basically meaning you're renting from that bank that has paid the house to own. So if you're buying a mortgage in the US at 6.5 today, guess what? Every 11 years, whatever debt you've taken on is going to double. Because people are like, oh, Golda, you're in finance. How come you don't own multiple properties? Because I know I don't want to be working for a bank. And in Uganda, I was surprised mortgage rates as high as 17%. So for the leaders, for you, our leaders who are listening in today, talk to our MPs, talk to them. Because for the MPs, I was seeing for them, they have their circle where they are giving themselves loans at 0.30%, almost less than something percent. And I guess that's why they have lost so much touch with reality. They don't know that the lending rates in Uganda are very high. They don't know, the mortgage rates are very high, which really shuts out a number of people from home ownership or even having people pay for properties, but they lose them midway because the loan is multiplying really, really fast. Another key financial issue that I want really to highlight today is life insurance. Right now, we see life insurances in Uganda, there's life insurance in UK, in Canada, here in the US. Friends, life insurance is the foundation of finance. Like when you're building your finances, you build them bottom up. Life insurance is a contract that ensures that your loved ones are covered in case anything happens to you. These days, there's an option where, you can cash it out when you're sick or even have long-term care insurance, but that depends on the company, the agent, how knowledgeable you are, and the geographical location. Life insurance in the US is tax-free. It is the only money your family can access without going through the probate court, like the court that handles estates of deceased person. Because here in the US, when you die, the first thing they do once they put your social in the system and declare you gone, they freeze your assets. After freezing your assets, they first pay off all the people you owed. They have to pay the medical bills, they have to pay the taxes, they have to pay the cards, the car, the business debt. So what is left is what goes to your family. That's why it is very, very important to have proper life insurance. And in the US, most states, our state, I think Massachusetts is the only one that gives 60 days, but the rest of the states, the money goes to your family within 30 days, zero tax. Friends, stop cheating yourself. Most of these insurance companies, even the one we have in Uganda, was seeing there are two companies, and one of them is over 180 years old. Meaning that for all those years, people have used these products and services to plan for their families. So leverage that, shop around and make sure you have your family covered. So life insurance does four main things in your financial planning. First and foremost, it makes sure your family has liquid to pay off debt, especially, in Uganda where, people lose big businesses. When someone dies, they have debt, the banks come and sweep everything. Have proper life insurance. In America, the leading cause of family bankruptcy is medical bills. Just protect yourself. Protect yourself when you're healthy. Protect yourself when you're young. Protect yourself when you still can afford, and your family will remember you for the rest of their lives. The second use of life insurance is income replacement. If you're earning at least 100,000 or even 10,000, whatever amount you're earning, consider having at least 3 times minimum of your annual income to protect the people you love. Don't fall for this life insurance 20,000. If you're making 50,000, your family cashes out 20,000. By the time we even finish the funeral, the community has to top up for you. How is your family going to pay for the home? How are they going to eat? How are they going to live? If your children are going to school, how are they going to be? Let us plan to protect. Let us be selfish and protect the people we love first. And of course, if you own a mortgage and you have no life insurance, you're basically renting. As simple as that. I'll leave at that. Regardless of your geographical location, the bank will always come for their money. That's how it works. And of course, if you have children you're taking care of or family that you take care of in the US or back home, it is very important to have at least 3 times of your income in life insurance to replace that. Yeah. So when you're shopping around for financial products, you consider 4 main things. The very first thing is the growth. Like you saw with the interest rate, the interest really does something very, very important to your money. It is like you're getting your money and you're planting it in this fertile ground. Don't plant your money on rocks or in some bush or in some random Ponzi scheme that you don't understand. Shop around for managed growth and you will thank me later. The second thing you consider when you're investing is safety. They say one way of avoiding loss, one way of saving is avoiding unnecessary loss. Like people who go, they trade their money in random stock markets that need really a certain level of understanding of how the stock market works to invest. People who put their money in Ponzi schemes, have their money rotating in susu groups, and people are running left, right, and center away with their money, and there's no way they can recover. Knowing where your money is and its safety is also part of saving. Then, of course, shop around for tax advantages. Whether you're investing in business, in agriculture, in financial products, there are always tax advantages that the government puts forward that helps put back more money into your pocket. And of course, protection is legal protection. Never ever invest in something where you cannot work backwards using the court system and recover your money. For our friends, Bridget, you're checking me on the time. How many more minutes do I have? Like 2?
Like 2, but let me just make a quick announcement for our youth. I see a number of you, Muriel, Kevin. The youth lounge is happening right now. So if you don't mind moving, or if you want me to ask them to wait for you, I could do that. Yeah, but I have provided the link in the chat for the youth lounge. They're waiting for you. Golda, you can have a couple, 3 more minutes.
3 more. So as I wind up, friends, like I said, the quickest way of losing your money is investing it into something you have not put in time to understand. It is as simple as that. On the protection side, when we had the Ponzi scheme of the scooters sweep the US and some cryptocurrencies Ponzi, when the FBI worked backwards, they found that the criminal gang pushing those Ponzis was in Cambodia. So if it is in Cambodia, guess what? The US government can do nothing. You invest in funny things in Uganda, you have not put in time really to understand, you don't do due diligence, a very quick way to lose your money. And the Bible says if you're hasty, if you're quick, it is a sure way to poverty. What we can do, call to action, upgrade your career. For me, I'm doing finance and I'm a paralegal and I'm working from home, friends. I work as I cook, as I take walks, as I enjoy life. Especially if you're in these countries, they offer so much opportunity. I was sharing with my guests today. I am on some groups, especially in the Buganda Catholic community here. They are pushing themselves to go to school. The people I worked on 5 years ago for financial products, and they were nurses or even they hadn't finished nursing school. Right now, you find them, all of them, they are like nurse practitioner, doctor this, doctor that. But as Manyachigezi, when we are meeting in these bukungus, why don't we start talking about some of these things? Why don't we start organizing ourselves to push each other, to encourage each other, to bring in professionals to help us upgrade? Because when you have more money, you plan better. And then build a network. For me, Golda, without in fact the Baganda Catholics in Boston here, I would be nothing. Completely. 99% of my clientele is from that community. The people you surround yourself with really determine how your finances turn out, and donate to your community groups, friends. Like I have been pushing all these days. I saw things were not moving here in Boston, pushing here, that. Like, how do we hope to develop? Like, if you get a problem, how do you expect people to jump in and help you when we need, small donations and you cannot give? And the funny bit is that donations in most of these modern countries are tax deductible. You donate, when the year ends, you claim, and they give you back your money. The Jews were able to build the kind of infrastructure we see, especially here in Boston, through a religious concept called tzedakah, where for them, by their belief, by their religion, under their belief system, you cannot be part of their community if you're not donating your time, your knowledge, your effort to the group. Yeah, and also build home. I know we like buying, land in the city, nearby, etc. But like you see, things are changing, friends. Let's use our groups, to pool resources. We buy like land in Chigezi, we develop it, because when things go west, guess what? We'll have a developed area, a sustainable area we can all go back to. But as we develop home, we are also developing ourselves, because we are creating jobs for our relatives and friends that live in Chigezi region. Keep healthy. Keep healthy, try to exercise. Me, Golda, I might have the Basiji size, but I walk, I exercise, I follow up with my doctors, I follow their orders, I eat strictly Chichiga food. I go and buy my vitakuri from the Indian, and I make sure I prepare homemade meals, yeah? Because without health, you have nothing. Participate actively and live life. Don't live for the job. Like Dr. Kalanzi said, try to relax. In conclusion, planning your finances does not start with your banker. It does not start with me, Golda, your financial professional, your government, or your friends. It starts with you knowing what you want, like having clear goals, comparing, like doing window shopping to compare the available options, and being disciplined enough to follow through. Yeah, like Benjamin Franklin says, an investment in knowledge is the best financial plan basically you can have. It pays the best interest. So, Bridget, I hope I did not disappoint you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, friends. Thank you. I hope that was helpful.